Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. 10 months ago, I made a video discussing how MultiVersus is going to fail again. I remember at that point in time when I heard MultiVersus was coming back after being shut down, I thought to myself, how is this game going to succeed now when it didn't succeed a year ago? What are they going to do different to take this game that was a failure and make it into a hit? I just didn't see it as a feasible thing that was going to happen, and what do you know it, this past Friday, January 31st, we get an announcement from MultiVersus that the game is getting shut down once and for good. And all I will say right now is I am not shocked at all. I am not surprised that this is happening. As I said before, 10 months ago I was predicting this was going to happen. I am not surprised that this is happening, not even a year after the game launched. So if you guys don't know already what the full news, the full announcement here is, on February 4th of this year, being 2025, Season 5 is going to launch, and it's going to serve as the final update for MultiVersus. It will run until May 30th of this year, being 2025, and then after that season ends, MultiVersus will be shut down. It will be going offline. The quote is that players will be able to enjoy the game offline for the foreseeable future, and we're gonna break that down in a second for you guys. So first and foremost, just the whole situation itself, as I was saying before, I'm not surprised. I was expecting this to happen. The fact of the matter is with MultiVersus, it was a failure of a game the first time around, right? It launched in July of 2022 and shut down in June of 2023. It lasted a whopping 11 months before getting shut down, and then all of a sudden the game is coming back in May of 2024, and they said, oh, we've learned from our mistakes, we're going to fix things this time around, and all they did was add 2 new characters every few months and call it a day. That was pretty much it. And now, a year later, May 30th, 2025, literally a year and 2 days after this game launched officially, it's getting shut down. Now, you might be saying to yourself, DC Network, why were you so adamant that this game was going to fail? And the reason why I felt like it was going to fail is because it just didn't work conceptually in the first place. And what I mean by this is, MultiVersus as a concept is a great idea for a game. It's a Warner Brothers fighting game that has characters from Cartoon Network, characters from DC, characters from other Warner Brothers properties. It's a fantastic idea in and of itself. The execution of it is where this game failed and where this game was destined to fail from the start. From the day this game was announced, it should have never been a live service. That should have never happened, just because, as we've seen with a lot of developers, they don't know what they're doing with a live service game. Like, Fortnite is obviously the poster child of live services, right? It's the game that really did push the medium forward, push that kind of format forward for gaming in the industry as a whole. Fortnite works, right? They add cosmetics pretty frequently. They add new items to the game pretty frequently that change the gameplay and whatnot. It has things that are bringing you back to it. MultiVersus, just a fighting game in general, doesn't work with that concept, right? They're not going to have enough content to keep bringing you back. You need to have basically a fighter every week or every other week to keep your numbers up for a game like this, and that's just something that's never going to happen. And it's really a shame, because now, as I said before, the game is getting shut down on May 30th, so that means that on May 30th, you will no longer be able to play the game online, which essentially defeats the entire purpose of the game. And as I said before, as a part of that statement, they said you'll be able to enjoy the game offline for the foreseeable future. And this is where my problem inherently is with live service games. The foreseeable future means for a little bit, right? Maybe for a year, maybe for, 6 months, you get to play MultiVersus offline. But what happens after that? What happens when the foreseeable future ends? That means whatever you've unlocked in MultiVersus is going to be gone. Whatever you accumulated through your time playing, it's all going to disappear. So if you're someone like me who was around day one for MultiVersus, if you bought one of the founders packs like I stupidly did, what happens to you? What happens to that money that you put into the game? This is a big problem in my opinion, and you might be saying to yourself, DC Network, you purchased it, what do you mean it's a big problem? You knew what you were getting into, and here's where I have an issue. I spent $100 on the highest tier of the Founders Pass, right? The reason I did so was because I figured, okay, I do make videos on Cartoon Network, I do talk about these shows on my channel, I'd like to cover MultiVersus in the future, and if I buy the characters individually as they come out, it's going to be more expensive than me just buying the Founders Pack, so I could future-proof, save a little bit of money and buy the Founders Pack. Well, here's the problem with that. If you have a Founders Pack, that top tier for $100, you're not going to be able to use all of your character tokens by the time this game shuts down, just because there's not enough characters for you to purchase. So essentially, you sold me something that was supposed to be, future-proofing, so to speak. It's going to be, when we add all these characters to the game, we promise we're going to do it. We're going to have all these awesome characters, like Ben 10 coming, which obviously that never happened. They never said that, though. That was a part of a leak. But nevertheless, we're going to have all these awesome characters coming. Well, now, essentially, I'm going to have a plethora of character tokens remaining when this game gets shut down. So, essentially, I bought something that you told me I could use, and I'm never going to be able to use it. So, essentially, you scammed me. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. This game was a scam from the start. And the reason I'm saying that, and the reason that sounds so harsh, it's true. Because if you guys recall, I talked about this in another video. When I first got that Founders Pass, I tried to redeem it for a Battle Pass, and it just would not work. I contacted them, said, hey, I redeemed my token for the Battle Pass. I contacted Player First Games, and I was like, hey, I redeemed it. Here's a screenshot of me redeeming it. Here's a clip of me redeeming it, and it's not giving me my items. And they're like, oh, sorry, that season pass expired already. You can't get those items because they're no longer available in the game. And I was like, hello, I already redeemed them. I bought them. I paid money for them, and you're telling me I can't get them because your game glitched. It's a scam. It's just an absolute scam from the get-go. They were in over their heads. I feel bad for the team behind this game because I don't think a lot of this is their fault. I think if this was a $40 or $50 title like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is, this game would be doing well right now. We'd be seeing this game selling like hotcakes. We'd see this game getting DLC, and this game would not be shut down ever because it's an actual physical game release that you can own. This is the problem with the digital future. This is the problem with live service games, is it can be stripped away from you at any moment, and you have absolutely no say in the matter, despite how much money you put into the game. The last thing I want to touch on in this video before signing off is the characters in MultiVersus. As we all know, every season they add about 2 new characters to the game. This past season, for season 4, it was Raven and it was Marceline, and for season 5, they've announced that the final 2 characters that are being added to MultiVersus are Aquaman and Lola Bunny. What a lackluster way to end this game. We had the leaks long ago that characters like Ben 10, Craig of the Creek, Johnny Bravo, Ted Lasso from, the Apple TV original series, which is a lovely show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. We had all of these characters, that's just naming a few, but there's a plethora of characters that were a part of the leak. All of these characters that were supposed to come to MultiVersus, you had characters from Mortal Kombat, and none of them are coming to the game. None of them are going to ever make it to the final release of this game because it's done. It's over. This game is cooked. It's not getting a season 6. It's not getting any more content. It's over. And I can't tell you how disappointed I was to read when they said season 5 is going to be the last season. Again, I wasn't shocked. I'm like, this is what I expected. It's about the timeline I expected too. I didn't think this game would last more than a year and a half, 2 years at the most. But when I saw that season 5 was going to be the last season, I said, fingers crossed, please, 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 let Ben Tennyson be a part of this update. Because I feel like Ben Tennyson, from the comment section on my videos discussing MultiVersus and just reading around the internet, whether it be on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, I feel like Ben Tennyson has been one of the characters that people have been anticipating the most. Like, people have really wanted to see Ben 10 in this game. When I heard season 5 was going to be the last season of this game, I said, please let Ben Tennyson be a part of this update. And it's Lola Bunny and Aquaman. What a lackluster send-off for this lackluster game. Again, it's really a shame because I feel like from the get-go, this game is not inherently a bad idea. It's essentially a Cartoon Network Punchtime Explosion 2, but with everybody this time. Not just Cartoon Network characters, but with characters from Warner Brothers Animation. Characters from, whatever Warner Brothers property you want to talk about. Beetlejuice is in the game. We have a bunch of DC characters in the game, which, to be fair, in my opinion, I think there are way too many DC characters in this game. Like, half the roster essentially is filled with DC characters, which I was hoping when we get these updates, every couple of months and we get these new seasons with these new characters, I was hoping for a little bit more variety than, hey, we have Raven 1 month and Aquaman, then, oh yeah, we also did Black Adam at one point, then we also did Joker and a Harley Quinn. Like, there's a lot of DC characters in this game when there's a plethora of other Warner Brothers Discovery properties that they could have been pulling from for this game. Like, Fred Flintstone was a part of one of the leaks. How cool would it have been if for season 5, instead of getting Lola Bunny and Aquaman, you got Fred Flintstone and Ted Lasso, or Fred Flintstone and Ben Tennyson, or Ben Tennyson and Johnny Bravo? That would have been so much cooler than what they're doing. And at the end of the day, like I said before, if this game day one was a $40, $50 game release, even if they charged $60, it would have been a little bit overpriced, but it would have done better than it's doing now. It would not be getting shut down. They would be making DLC for it. And if you take all of the leaked characters that we had and just make half of them or 3/4 of them your day one roster for this game and make the rest of them DLC characters, again, it would have been a recipe for success. And once again, I feel bad because Player First games. I don't really fault them necessarily for this debacle, if you will. I mean, yes, some of this is their fault. Yes, they weren't exactly pushing enough content updates to keep people playing this game. But at the end of the day, I feel like whoever came up with the concept of this being a live service game, which, let's be real here, it was probably Warner Media at the time, or Warner Brothers Discovery. Whoever came up with that concept, that's the reason this game failed. This game did not fail because of the gameplay. This game did not fail because of the concept of being a Warner Brothers fighting game. This game failed because it was a live service game that just wasn't going to work from the start. There's not enough content you could be putting in to get people to come back every single week to keep playing this game, unlike your Fortnites of the world. This was just never going to work, and really, it's a shame. I hope Warner Brothers Discovery in the future attempts another game like this, just as an actual game you could purchase this time, like another Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. That was a fantastic game. That's a fan favorite game that people want to see a sequel for. Something like that as a $40, $50 game release would be absolutely phenomenal. But for now, we got MultiVersus, and unfortunately, it was something that I was extremely excited about when I first heard about it, until I heard it was a live service game, because this is what live service games are destined to do. One day they're destined to be shut down, and all of that time, all of that money you put into that game is just gone with the snap of a finger. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the whole MultiVersus situation? Are you surprised that it's getting shut down this soon, or are you like me that you expected this to happen from the start? Just because a failure of a game is a failure of a game. You can't really do much about that, shutting it down for a year. That's not going to fix it. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.